Alright. I believe it should be time to get going here. Yes, it is. So everybody, welcome back to another event today. We are back in the Fall Brawl Series. We're kicking it over to Fall Brawl Series West. So for those of you who are new here, there's a lot of stuff going on with this Fall Brawl Series points chase. It's really complicated, so if you want to know what these points mean and what's on the line, I would recommend checking out the community post tab and seeing everything that we said there, because there is a lot to unpack. And I cannot cover it all in the intro for every event. However, what I can cover is the event lineup and how points are currently looking. So, there are 10 competitors here in each Fall Brawl Series, and today we are taking a look at Series West. So here's how that lineup is looking. We have the current leader, Venard in the Black Pearl. In second place, we have Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack. In third place, Jamey, Garner in Overboard. In fourth place, Zack, Garner in Wildside. In fifth place, Mike Christensen in Vendetta. In sixth place, Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. In seventh place, Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. In eighth, Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. In ninth, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. And finally, Dalton, Widner, and Shell-Shocked, who has been battling some very big issues over the past couple events. So there are quite a few things to unpack here. First thing, of course, is that Venard is your new series points leader, so he's going to have some pressure on him to try and defend that tonight. Other notable thing is all the Pagliarulos, a little mixed up in my words there, all the Pagliarulos are sticking together in points. So when you look at like the Garners or Team Throttle Monster, they're kind of dispersed around throughout the 10 different placements, but all of Team Tomfoolery is clumped together. So we'll see if that remains the same or if that gets mixed up, because it has been like that since the first event of the season. Now we are here in Wild Ridge Rodeo Arena, and this track is amazing. We have some stuff to destroy, some technical ramps, some ramps that are going to offer some big air. It's going to be a crazy night here. 3 competitions, 1 winner in each competition, and 1 overall points champion. So fans, that's enough. It's time to get underway with the 3rd event for Fall Brawl Series West of 2025, and we're kicking it off here with the racing competition. Now fans, of course, do not forget, this is all one big points chase at the end of the day. There might be all these different little events, but they're all building up to the same common goal to be that champion. So all these drivers really should be feeling pressured every day, because every show at the end of the day is going to count. You need every single point you can get in every single competition you compete in, and that's something Dalton Widner has been struggling in Shell-Shocked. Now, he is opening up racing tonight. In racing, we have a bit of a fun track plan, so you'll see how that goes here with Dalton Widner kicking it off, and he is getting staged and ready to go here in the Shell-Shocked. Dalton Widner now kicks off the racing competition. Now, we use timed racing here, so you can see him taking that wide. That is exactly what you are supposed to do. Take it over that little jump. Dalton Widner has done everything he is supposed to do so far. Very nicely done. He is getting a little slow around that turn right there, but a nice recovery. So now he only has one last thing to do, and that is to take it down to this other racing lane. So he is looking pretty good here. He's just got to be careful about what he does. Big speed across the finish line, and Dalton Widner and Shell-Shocked bringing that racing pass to a close. So a nice effort there, kicking off racing with Team Throttle Monster. And setting the bar, Dalton Widner and Shell-Shocked. He is the first time of the night, so there is no time to beat, and his time is a 29.99. So 29.99, setting the bar here. He could have been a little faster in some parts, especially coming around that second to last turn, but I would say regardless of that, he was still looking fairly good all throughout that race. So Dalton Widner and Shell-Shocked giving his best effort out here. Well, fans, we're going to move into that next competitor. We're going to switch teams here to Team Tomfoolery, and we're going to be watching Team Tomfoolery for quite a little while here, because all 3 of their competitors are going to be coming out in a row. But the first of the three is the team owner himself, Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. Matt has been having a bit of a rough time here trying to get this Fall Brawl Series figured out. However, if he can start to pick it up a little bit, we might see him make that climb back up. So he's staged and ready, and he's going to go for it right here. Now, what can he do? Well, first thing he needs to figure out is how to not take that turn too tight. That's going to hurt his time just a little bit, but it didn't look like he got too caught up on that. So a nice turn right there is going to help him out. Now, what can he do to try to make up that little bit of time lost? He's just got to stay fast all around here. He's going to take this turn very wide, but he's going to make it work out. Drops the speed right there before accelerating across that finish line. So Matt Pagliarulo and Jester taking a bit of a different approach out here than we saw from the Shell-Shocked machine. Shell-Shocked was focused more on speed. Matt was focused more on accuracy, but his time is going to be a 30.08, which is not going to be enough to take over that top spot here in racing. So Matt Pagliarulo currently holding second place. Dalton Widner remains in that racing lead. Fans, we're going to move it over to the third competitor tonight. Coming up next to the track, please welcome Nick Pagliarulo, Kraken. Nick is no stranger to putting on a good performance. That is one thing that is pretty certain here. Anytime you see Nick Pagliarulo hit the track, you know something crazy is about to happen. Now, can he get it done? That is the question. He's going to get started here with a very, very nice downhill, taking that very clean, a little bit wide around that turn, but it's actually going to work out for him. He's looking to be in a pretty good position right now. Might have oversteered right there, and that's going to lose him some speed, but he's going to try and recover this pretty well. But what can he get back in this last turn? That is the question. He is sailing a little bit too wide. Once again, he's not even going to hit the last ramp. He's just going to go flying over it. I mean, there's not really any rules against that. I mean, he hit every ramp square, and that's all he really needed to do to not get penalized. So, Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken showing a strategy that we have not seen yet. Unfortunately, though, all of his rough turns throughout the race are going to hurt him. It is a 30.89. That's going to currently put him in third place, which, as of right now, is also last place. So, Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, he's going to have to do some work as we head into skills and freestyle if he wants to make back up some points that he has just lost. Fans, we're going to move into your next competitor here. The third and final team tomfoolery driver here to race is Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. Mike, he's a great driver in pretty much every competition except racing is not really his game. However, he did do pretty decent at the last show in racing, so if he can keep that up, maybe he'll continue his climb higher here in points. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber stage at the line, and he goes green. You just really have to be able to stay consistent on a track like this. And Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, he's off to a very nice start for that. So he's actually looking much cleaner than the other Pagliarulos did. There's a lot of stakes here, though, in this last turn. If his run is going to continue being dominant, and it might just do that. He's going to go flying across the finish line, nice and centered out. So Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber taking a bit of a different approach there. You know, other drivers focused on precision. He focused on making sure that that truck stayed fast through every turn. And the official time is going to be a 27.08. Put him at the top. Mike Pagliarulo gets it done in racing. He is officially your new leader in the racing competition. So, you know, this is what I was just saying. Mike, not known to be a racer, but, you know, in some of these courses like this, he can still, you know, get them down. It doesn't take too much to get down one good racing pass. Maybe winning racing is harder when it's, you know, a whole bracket, but if you're just trying to put down one pass, I think any of these drivers are capable of that. Coming up next, a new hire for Team Throttle Monster. Not someone that you'd be used to seeing on this team. It's Tyler Groth driving the Velociraptor. So Tyler Groth coming out here. Something a little bit different. Having some trouble here getting into that staged area. Looks like he's trying to get this set back up. Put that in reverse a little bit. A little bit out of the line. There he is. He's staged. He's ready. He's at the line. Tyler Groth and Velociraptor goes green. And he's off to a very nice start to this racing pass. This is really going to be all about how consistently fast can you stay. And Tyler Groth and Velociraptor, he's looking very good right now. But that did mess him up a little bit. So can he recover from that? That is the question we have to ask. Huge speed across the finish. So Tyler Groth and Velociraptor doing what he can to try to make up a little bit of lost ground. Now, was it enough? Time to beat Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, a 27.08. The time for Velociraptor is a 26.81. Tyler Groth is officially your new leader in the racing competition. You know, that's very good news for Tyler Groth. He was having a little bit of trouble towards the first half of the season, but I gotta say, he really picked it up in Egan, climbed all the way up to the 6th place position, and now he's taken home first in racing so far, so he's definitely been improving as this series has gone on. But coming up next to the track, please welcome Mike Christensen and Vendetta. Mike Christensen, he was the season leader coming out of Tucson, Arizona, but after that event, he very quickly did lose it to Venard and the Black Pearl. So Mike Christensen coming off of a rough show in Egan, I'm sure he really wants to get that lead back and get some consistency back on the board, but it all starts here with this race. What can he do? Mike Christensen and Vendetta, he's off the line. Now his own teammate, in fact his own employee, is currently winning. Mike Christensen and Vendetta, the boss man, he has a little bit more influence over this lineup than you would expect. Oh no. Oh my goodness, Mike Christensen. Oh no. Oh my goodness. What a rough crash. So Mike, we saw him out there. It looked like coming off that landing, he got a little too sideways, couldn't get all his tires up that ramp. Then he did a bicycle straight into that other ramp right there. When he collided with the ramp, it broke an axle in the truck. Once that axle was broken, he got hiked up onto the front 2 tires. He couldn't save it because that tire was locked, and he ended up going onto the lid. That's going to leave him with a DNF, and I gotta say, if he was trying to make back some points, that is not the way to do it, and that's going to be very detrimental as Mike Christensen's points chase continues on throughout the season. Well, fans, time waits for no one. 4 more competitors left to go, and coming up next is Zack Garner and Wildside. So Zack Garner and Wildside coming out here. He is no stranger to the monster truck world. He's been doing this from a very young age compared to when some other drivers start. Zack was a teenager at his beginning in monster trucks, but ever since then he has been one of the best in the business, especially in recent years. He became a world champion, nearly became a 2-time world champion, and now he has the opportunity to become the first ever Fall Brawl Series champion. If he can do well here in the Wild Ridge Rodeo Arena. Obviously this event doesn't determine everything, but there's still a lot on the line with this show, putting pressure on Zack to perform well. And he just, I think, got this racing course about as clean as it could possibly be done. Absolutely amazing work for Zack Garner and Wildside. I could not really critique a single thing about that pass. I mean, if I had to pick something, I guess maybe in that last straightaway he got a little messy, but that was definitively how to run this course. Absolutely amazing work from Zack Garner. Now, is it enough? The time to beat Tyler Groth and Velociraptor, 26.81. The time for Zack Garner, Wild Side, is 25.06. Put him at the top. Zack Garner and Wild Side is your new leader here in racing. Well, fans, Zack might have taken that lead right now, but this man is not going to let him get away with it easy. Because coming up next, it's Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. Jamey is not only Zack's boss, he is his dad. So there is some added pressure there, some family rivalry, some teammate rivalry that Jamey Garner has to live up to here. He's staged and ready at the line. He goes green. Now, we saw Jamey Garner and Overboard right there trying a little bit of a different approach. He had his rear steer turned while he was on that starting ramp, and that would help propel him into that first turn a little bit better. So Jamey Garner and Overboard clearly getting strategic out here. He's starting to get a little bit messy though, and that's the thing, is you really have to stay nice, tight, and clean on every single jump you hit with this racing course. Jamey Garner let himself get a little out of hand, and even though only once or twice that happened, it still was enough to impact his time. So Jamey trying to get innovative. It did work out for him, but in the end, he just wasn't able to stay straight. And that's going to be a 27.93 for Jamey Garner. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to put him, but it is not going to be enough for that top spot. Let's see. I think that is 4th place right now for Jamey Garner. So 4th place is definitely not a bad spot to be in. However, he's in podium in the point standings right now. And when you're that high up, you really need to make sure that you're doing what you can to defend that. And sometimes even 4th place is too low when you're that high up. But ladies and gentlemen, only 2 competitors remain here in racing. Coming up next, it's Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack. Tim Hall Jr. had the night of his life back in Egan. Now, the previous driver, Jamey Garner, took home the overall, but I think Tim Hall Jr. probably left that event feeling the best because he took home both the racing and 2-wheel skills win. So now he's coming out here for racing. You have to imagine he's feeling pretty confident. Tim Hall Jr. staged and ready, and he goes green. So Zack Garner and Wildside, he's looking untouchable so far here in racing. Oh my goodness! What? Unbelievable. This stuff just does not ever happen. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack, this is detrimental to his season. We're going to take a look at these damages here. He might not be able to make it out for skills, if not freestyle. I mean, this is looking really, really bad. Oh my goodness. Yeah, fans, I don't know what to tell you. Drive shaft, 4-link bars, sway bars, shocks, tires, axles. Tim Hall Jr. just absolutely decimated the Jurassic Attack machine. Absolutely unbelievable. Well, fans, if you've been rooting for Tim Hall Jr. throughout this season, I'm sorry, but I don't think things are looking very good for him. Honestly, I'd say he'd be lucky to even make it back for freestyle, and if that were the case, he would be getting only 1 point out of this entire event. That would completely kill his season, I'm sure. So fans, we'll see what happens as the show goes on, but things are not looking good for the Jurassic Attack camp, I'll say that much. Fans, that was a very tough break for Team Throttle Monster, but there is still one more competitor left to go, ready to hit the track, Venard, the Black Pearl. So Team Throttle Monster having a very, very rough night here. Tyler Groth, the only one finding success so far. And after what just happened to Tim Hall Jr., I'm not so sure we're going to be seeing 10 competitors in our other competitions anymore. Now, Venard and the Black Pearl, he's trying to get this set up here. These drivers are starting to get a little bit more experimental about how they can line up on this starting ramp, so I give them credit for trying to get creative with it. Venard and the Black Pearl, he is underway with the very last racing past the night, and I gotta be honest, he's looking a little bit not too great out there. If he can maybe lock in towards the end of this, maybe that will work out, but I don't know. He's looking a little bit crazy right here. Oh no, this is bad. Venard and the Black Pearl. This is definitely going to hurt his time. Can he recover? He is going to try, but it might already be too far gone for that Black Pearl camp. He was coming around for that last turn, just a little bit oversteered, and that really hurt him right there. The time is a 33.24. That is the slowest completed time here in racing. Now, fans, we're going to go through these points, see what drivers received what, and then we're going to move it into the next competition, the two-wheel skills competition. So, fans, we're going to take a look at these points, and we'll be right back. Alright fans, we are back and things are looking interesting right now. So with Tim Hall Jr.'s crash in racing, he's only getting 1 point, and if he's not coming out for skills. So if he doesn't come out for freestyle, Tim Hall Jr. will be ending with only 1 point on the entire event. So hopefully he can come back for freestyle. Mike Christensen only getting 2 points, so we might be seeing him drop down even lower. 3 points went to Venard, so his series lead might be getting lost, as Jamey Garner is quickly approaching, who got 7 points, and Zack Garner taking home his first racing win on the season. So fans, a lot of interesting things to look at there. So for those of you who do not know how these events work, the order of each competition, of each next competition is based on the overall point standing. So, coming out of racing, the order will be based on who placed where in racing for skills. So whoever was the slowest in racing will go first in skills, fastest in racing will go last in skills, and then freestyle will be based on the overall, so racing and skills combined. So all that being said, fans, there are a lot of interesting things here, and we're just going to have to see how skills goes, because racing was pretty rough. Now fans, as we saw Tim Hall Jr.'s crash, he will not be coming out here in skills. Now, that's not it, though, because as you saw, Mike Christensen and Vendetta had a rough crash. They're still working on that track, on that truck in the back of the track, trying to get those axles fixed. So, Mike Christensen will not be coming out yet either. He will probably be closing the competition. So, fans, on that note, coming up next, or I guess coming up first, will be the last racer, Venard and the Black Pearl. Now on that note, fans, we're going to get started. Again, that's Venard on the Black Pearl. He comes into this event as your defending season series champion, or not champion, but leader, I should say. He just lost a lot of points in racing, and it puts a lot of pressure on him to now do something profound in the skills challenge, because if he cannot, his scores will reflect and his point standings will also reflect. So Venard in the Black Pearl, he's still looking for his first hit to do on 2 wheels. And it looks like he might be decided here. He's slowing that truck down. Venard in the Black Pearl. Oh man, he's trying to salvage what he can from this move, but that just did not work. It looks like he was trying to do a reverse popper into a wheelie, but that truck just didn't quite pop. So, one more hit for Venard in the Black Pearl. And it is a nice bicycle. 2 hits down for Venard in the Black Pearl. Now, Venard, I believe, was actually the last show skills winner, so it looks like he did dumb it down a little bit here with 2 kind of anticlimactic hits, but regardless, he did complete his run, and there's been several times this season that we couldn't even say that much. So, Venard in the Black Pearl is best effort. Fans, you can get those scores in. Keep in mind, when we do fan scoring, they are combined with expert scores, or if there are no fan scores, we only use expert judges. That is how it works here on the channel. So, scores are locked for Venard in the Black Pearl. There are no fan scores, so we're going to leave this up to the experts. And the score, opening up the skills challenge with Venard in the Black Pearl, is a 5.301. Venard setting the bar. With how competitive this series has been, that is kind of a low bar to start the event at, but it just really was not going well for Venard, so a tough break there as he is just not having the night he was looking for. Coming up next, Pagliarulo and Kraken. He's got 2 hits here. And he is onto those front 2 tires. Very nicely done. Oh no! Oh my goodness. This show is just a little bit of a rough one. I'm going to be honest. Nothing is going quite right with this event. Pagliarulo and Kraken comes out here, attempts a moonwalk, no success, straight onto the lid, and it's going to be put to an early end. Scoring is open, fans. Get your scores in for the Kraken machine before that window closes. Again, just a really tough break. It was a pretty routine move he was going for, but this track has just not been agreeing with these drivers, and another one bites the dust. So, the score from the experts for Pagliarulo is a 2.719. 2.719. Oh, we do have a fan score coming in, so we're actually going to put those scores together. So, the experts giving that a 2.719. The fans giving that a 3. That's going to be a 2.859. 2.859. For the Kraken. Apologies, fans, that score was not seen at first, but it is official, 2.859. So, fans, skills off to a bit of a rough start. Still no new leader, Venard maintaining his spot. But coming up next, trying to take it away from Nick, is Pagliarulo and Jester. So, Pagliarulo coming out here. And you really have to wonder, what can Pagliarulo get done on this track? This is really not the competition he is known for, but really the stakes are so high on this tour. All these drivers are pushed to their limits, even in their less known competition. So, Pagliarulo and Jester, he's off to a nice start here with a huge wheelie. So, the Jester camp into another wheelie. Pagliarulo and Jester finally giving us something to look at with that very, very nice wheelie combination. One more move to go. See, is he going to go for that wheelie? No, he is not. Not liking what he saw right there. He's going to take this back around the track. Let's see what he wants to do here for the second hit. Keep in mind that score to beat right now is a 5.301 for the Black Pearl. Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, he's getting ready to go here. Huge air off that car stack. And it's going to be another nice wheelie for the Jester machine. And he's going to set it back down. So Matt Pagliarulo and Jester getting it done in the Skills Challenge. Fans, get those scores locked in. Get those scores locked in. There for Matt Pagliarulo and Jester, giving it his best efforts. So Matt getting a little out of his comfort zone with some very, very risky wheelies. I'm pretty certain, though, that those wheelies were enough to get the fans on their feet. And when the fans are part of the scores, that's exactly what you're going to need. So, let's see how this goes. The experts are going to give that an 8.563. 8.563. Fans are going to give it an 8.3. So let's see how that's going to go here. For Matt Pagliarulo, that is an 8.432 for the Jester, which means Matt Pagliarulo is your new leader in the skills competition. Well, we're going to keep things going here, and now we're going to take it to a team who has just been having such a rough night. Coming up next is Dalton, Widner, and Shell Shocked. Man, Team Throttle Monster has been having such a rough event. I mean, I just got to say it like it is. Tim Hall Jr. is not even making it out for skills. Mike Christensen did not finish a time in racing, and we don't even know if he's going to make it out for skills or not, but he's looking pretty close. Just a very rough night for this team overall. But this is the big opportunity here for Dalton Widner to give Team Throttle Monster some redemption if he can get it done in the Shell Shocked. So Dalton Widner, he's set, he's ready. First hit for that Shell Shocked machine. And he is very nicely walking it on those front two BKTs. Dalton Widner, very well done. And he's actually going to save it right there, so it looks like that truck was going to go over. Dalton said, not today. Oh, can he combo this too? Very nicely done by the Shell Shocked. Dalton, the first driver to really get this figured out today. Let's see what he can do here with one more hit left to go. Onto those front two tires. Oh my goodness. Oh, and it is on to the lid for the Shell Shocked. Nearly pulled out a crazy one-wheeled wow factor. But unfortunately, that truck just got a little too crooked. And by the time he tried to save it, it was a little bit too far gone. Jamey Garner's coming up next. Dalton Widner had a bit of a rough end to his run. However, that was still probably the cleanest move we have seen so far. So let's keep that in mind, fans. Fan scores coming in as a 7.8. Experts are going to give that a 7.75. So the score is a 7.775 for Dalton Widner. That's going to currently put him in second place. Now it's time for that name I said, fans. Coming up next, it's Jamey Garner and Overboard. Jamey is your reigning overall winner for this tour. He won the overall at the Egan County Fairgrounds. Now he is here in the Wild Ridge Rodeo Arena, ready to rock this place in the overboard and try and take home another big win. Can he get it done? Well, this competition will give a lot of information about that, as he is going to get a very nice wheelie. Jamey Garner demonstrating true balance and precision in the overboard. And he's going to slap it down. Check out this wheelie. Jamey Garner and Overboard, the first driver to truly execute a clean move. Dalton's was pretty clean too, but it got a little messy towards the end. Jamey Garner, though, I mean, that was a picture-perfect wheelie combination. I could not find a complaint for that if I tried. That was just super well executed by Jamey Garner. One more hit to go for the overboard. So fans, let's hear it for Jamey Garner. He's had a great run going, and it looks like he's got something in mind. Big speed for the overboard. And he is going to get an absolutely massive sky wheelie. What a rough landing, fans. Give it up for Jamey Garner. You know he's going to be feeling that one by the time freestyle comes around. What a hard landing. That is the definition of driving to win. Jamey Garner, he knew that was going to be a rough landing, but he did not let that stop him. He aired it out. He put a lot on the line with that jump, and he got a perfect sky wheelie out of it. So Jamey Garner and overboard, absolutely delivering for these fans. And on that note, fans, that scoring window is now closed, so we will not be accepting any more scores for Jamey Garner and overboard. Score to beat, 8.432 by Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. The score for Jamey Garner overboard is a 9.052. Jamey Garner and overboard is your new leader here in the freestyle competition. So fans, some great news there for Jamey Garner and overboard, as he is officially going to grab that top spot. Now fans, please make sure, if you are going to be doing fan scoring, to get those scores locked in as soon as the run was over. There is a little bit of a stream delay from the event to your viewership, so by the time the scoring window is closed, I'll probably have missed whatever score was submitted. So make sure that those scores are submitted the second the run comes to an end, or those scores may be missed. Just keep that in mind as we're proceeding here into that next competitor. It's Mike Pagliarulo and the Excaliber. Sorry for that little jump right there. Had to make sure everything was working accordingly, but it is. So, Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, he is coming out here. He really wants to get some redemption for Team Tomfoolery after what happened in racing. Nick Pagliarulo had a very rough night in this competition, but Matt Pagliarulo stepped out of his comfort zone and got it done in the skills challenge, as he currently holds second place. So, where will Mike fall? That is the question. There's a lot to determine that here, and this first hit is going to be very significant. So what can Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber do? He's onto those front two tires, and this is very nice for that Excaliber machine. So Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, he is doing very well right now. He is going to keep this going. So this is the cleanest maneuver we have seen so far. He is just walking this back as far as he possibly can. And now he's taking it in the other direction. So Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber showing off some true skill. Definitely the most skill involved so far for this run from Excaliber. Oh, and he's going to combo it. Mike Pagliarulo. Oh my goodness. He is on the reverse. What? Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber might have just pulled out move of the year. You have got to be kidding me. I don't even know how he pulled that out. I mean, he came out there, had a pretty routine nose wheelie going, then turned it into a very nice moonwalk. Then he nose picks it, gets a little sideways, goes into reverse sidewalls, and saves it. Mike Pagliarulo, absolutely incredible. One more hit, still left to go. That was all one hit. That is the crazy part, fans. Looks like he's going to restage this here. Didn't quite get the lineup he was going for. Oh no! Mike Pagliarulo trying to recover that move, but fans, that's going to be something you have to keep in mind. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, a very good first hit, But he came out for that second hit and didn't really execute too much. So that's something to keep in mind with scores. Yes, the first hit was good, but there wasn't consistency, and that's part of determining how good a run was. So fans, keep that in mind here as these scores come on in. And that window on that note is now closed. So that score to beat is going to be a 9.052 for Jamey Garner. Fan scores for Mike Pagliarulo are a 9.7. Experts are going to give it a 9.25. So Mike Pagliarulo, a 9.475 with only one attempt that was successful. That is amazing for Mike Pagliarulo. That's how you know that move he pulled off was insane. Because it was all he needed to bring home what I think is the biggest score that this series has seen so far. So, very nice there for Mike Pagliarulo. And Excaliber, coming up next, he has his truck repaired after racing. It's Mike Christensen, Vendetta. Mike, not really his star competition here, so it's got to raise a question. What can he do when he is here in the skills challenge? Not really what he's known for, but a very nice wheelie. I'll give him that. Mike Christensen, oh no! Can he turn disaster into an opportunity? Yes, he can. Mike Christensen and Vendetta making the most of what was almost a very bad situation. He pulls off another amazing save. So this skills challenge has really started to ramp up here in the latter half. One more hit for Mike Christensen and Vendetta. Oh no! Can he get this one back too? No, he cannot. He was so close to getting it back. He got it onto one tire, started driving for the save, and right when he started to save it, it looks like the truck just drove back into the ramp and put the truck back on its lid once again. So, Mike Christensen and Vendetta, he tried to get it done right there, but unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to save that second hit. Still a great first hit, though, so keep that in mind, fans. And that scoring window has now closed for the Team Throttle Monster camp. So the score to beat comes to you from Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, who put down a 9.475. The score for Mike Christensen, Vendetta, is an 8.381. Not enough for that top spot. That's going to put him in 4th place currently here in the Skills Challenge. So Mike Christensen, he did some pretty cool stuff, but if anything, I think that run is proof that consistency is going to be key. You can have one cool move and it'll give you a decent score, but if both moves aren't good, the score will only be decent, and that's what we just saw there from Mike Christensen and Vendetta. Tyler Groth and Velociraptor is up next. He placed 2nd in racing earlier tonight, so he's got to be feeling good here. He is the best performing Team Throttle Monster driver of the event. Now, can he maintain that? That's what we must find out. Set and ready. Onto those front 2 tires. Very nicely done for Tyler Groth. Now, he's going to walk this back. Oh, can he pull out this save? Oh my goodness! Oh no! Tyler Groth and Velociraptor nearly just pulled out save of the year 3 different times during that skills run. Started on the sidewalls, got it onto one wheel, got the save, but the truck got a little too hiked up, got it onto one wheel again, and just did not have the acceleration to bring it back around. So a tough break right there for Tyler Groth and the Velociraptor machine. Scores are now locked. Fans are going to say a 6.5. Experts are going to say a 5. That is a 5.75. Not enough for that top spot. That is going to put him in, I want to say, 8th place currently. So a tough break for Tyler Groth and the Velociraptor machine. Sorry, not 8th place, 7th place. Yeah, that's 7th place right now. So still a tough break, but he'll be back for freestyle. Well, fans, there is only one competitor remaining here in the Skills Challenge. This driver was by far the fastest on the racing course, the only driver to get it down to 25 seconds. Can he get it done in skills? Let's hear it for Zack Garner, Wild Side. Zack is looking to make it on to his 2nd ever BeamNG Monster Jam Destruction Series. If he can do so, he will have another opportunity to prove that he deserves to be in the big leagues. But he's going to have to get it done here in skills because Mike Pagliarulo did a very, very good job on his first attempt. So Zack Garner and Wild Side under some pressure right now, but I'm sure he is not afraid to put this truck on the wild side. So it looks like he's getting staged and ready here. Maybe eyeing that same ramp that we have seen so many other competitors go for. Now what can he do with it? He's getting propped up onto that ramp. Onto those front 2 BKTs. And Zack Garner and Wild Side showing off some great balance. Now, it is no secret that Zack Garner is one of the best in the business in this competition. But can he prove that tonight? That is the question we all have to be asking Zack Garner and Wild Side. Well, yes, he can prove that. He pulls off an amazing combination maneuver, and he's going to turn it into another combination maneuver. So Zack Garner and Wild Side not afraid to get a little bit risky today. If he can get a nice 2nd hit on the board, Zack Garner could be looking at doing the exact same thing Tim Hall Jr. did back in Egan, where he wins both racing and skills. But that's going to come down to what he can do in this 2nd hit. That first hit was very nice, but consistency is key. Zack Garner and Wild Side, one more move to go. And he's getting ready here. Onto those front 2 tires, and he has found that balancing point. Very nicely done for Zack Garner and the Wild Side. And he is walking that truck back. You see him turning that rear steer a little bit. Keeping that truck balanced. Unbelievable. Trying to combo this up right here. Oh my goodness, Zack, be careful. Zack Garner and Wild Side, let's hear it. 2 picture-perfect maneuvers. Here's what I'll say. Yes, what Mike Pagliarulo did was really cool, but that was more of a best trick than anything. Zack Garner just showed why it's called the Skills Challenge. He showed the skill to balance that truck, to pull off those moves, to keep it nice and balanced all throughout that run. Zack Garner and Wild Side just definitively showed what the Skills Challenge competition is all about. So fans, how will these scores look? Well, the score to beat is a 9.475 for Excaliber. Experts give Zack Garner a 9.65. Fans give him a 9.3. The score for Zack Garner and Wild Side is a 9.475. Fans, this is unbelievable. Zack Garner just tied for the lead. Now, the way that these scores work is that, and this is how any competition goes, if 2 drivers receive the same score or the same time or anything like that, whichever one went out first is the one who walks away with the win. Because of that, Mike Pagliarulo is going to get the skills win here as he came out before Zack, Garner, and Wildside. So Zack Garner will get 9 points. Mike Pagliarulo will get 10 points. Fans, that was not intentional or made up or anything like that. That was genuinely the math behind these different scores being put together. So that was absolutely unbelievable. So fans, we're going to take about 30 seconds here. We're going to count up all these scores, and we'll be back with the overall point standings and freestyle. Alright fans, we are back with the official overall point standings, and there are some very interesting stories coming out of tonight so far. Here's the biggest thing. Both Venard and Tim Hall Jr. have been having very rough shows, and with that, neither of them have gotten very many points, which means we're probably going to be seeing them drop out of the first and second positions after this show. With that being said, Jamey Garner and Zack Garner have received 15 and 19 points respectively, which means they have a very good shot at moving up into those top 2 positions if they can stay consistent through freestyle. Right now, Zack Garner is your event leader with Mike Pagliarulo very closely in second with 18 points. So fans, scores are close, there's a lot at stake, but one thing is for sure, it's time to get underway with Monster Jam Freestyle. Fans, each competitor will have 2 minutes on the clock to do the best moves they can. They will be able to do pretty much anything. They can do some destruction, some technical moves, some fast passes, some donuts, really whatever they want. 2 minutes is theirs just to go and burn it down. Now the order here in freestyle will be based on overall event standings. So, coming up first, please welcome Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. Now, Tim Hall Jr. does currently sit in dead last place, but they're still working on that truck right now, so if he's even able to make it back for freestyle, it's not going to be for a while. Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, though, is coming out here, and Nick is ready to burn it down. Nick's been having a rough season, but at the end of the day, I think Nick is in it for fun and for entertainment more than anything. He is here to put on some crazy freestyle runs. This is his chance to do that. He didn't do super well in skills or freestyle, but that's just not what he's about. Sorry, in skills or racing. He didn't do super well in those. That's just not what he's about, though. He's all about freestyle. And right now, he's off to a very good start with some big air, some crazy saves as well right off the bat, I'm noticing. And he is just keeping this going, so Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, you can tell he is driving like he wants to put on a show. Big wheelie right there. And he is going to slap that down, so Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, he's getting crazy. Turning this around now. Still has 70 seconds, so, man, I gotta say, he is doing a very good job at staying consistent from hit to hit, because with how many hits he's hitting this run, I already thought it was almost the end of the run, but he's actually still just getting started. So Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken definitely demonstrating some good flow, some good momentum, some crazy wow factors, and fans, he might be going over right here. It's going to be another nice save for that Kraken machine. So Nick Pagliarulo, absolutely no stranger to getting it done in a monster truck. Onto those front 2 tires. You have got to be kidding me. It takes a very experienced monster truck driver to be able to just transition into a technical maneuver like that. Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken, you might still think of him as a rookie because of how young he is and with being a second-generation driver, but no, Nick's been doing this for a good block of time now. 6 years behind the wheel, and he is just going at it. And that is going to do it. Nick Pagliarulo, time comes to an end. It's going to leave a couple seconds on the clock. I don't know if you fans saw that. Coming in on that last landing, he took too much speed into that ramp ahead of him, completely destroyed that front axle, and that is going to bring it to an end for Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken. Sorry, not front axle, but just the front end in general. Shocks were broken, axles were broken, tie rods were broken. It was a crazy crash for Nick Pagliarulo, but what a freestyle. Can we just say that? He had everything in that run. He just absolutely delivered, and I think he deserves some good credit for that. So Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken getting it done. So let's see. Experts are going to give that run an 8.5. Fans are going to give it a 9.1. So Nick Pagliarulo and Kraken an 8.8 tonight in freestyle. 8.8, that is a huge score to start the competition off with. So Nick Pagliarulo, he's got to be feeling good because he just set the bar really high for being the first run out. Fans, coming up next, please welcome Venard, the Black Pearl. Venard came into this event as a defending season champion, but he very quickly lost that title as this event went on. So now he's under some pressure to try and get that back. But that's really going to come down to how well he can do here in freestyle. Already he's taken that turn a little too wide, and that's going to interrupt his run a little bit. Nice air, though, so Venard and Black Pearl trying to recover here. And I'll give him credit. He's doing a pretty good job at that with a nice wheelie right there. He is way out there right now, though, so he's going to have to hone this back in. Oh, but some huge air for the Black Pearl. He set himself up right there. That might have been intentional what he did because, I mean, that was a clean jump. Venard and the Black Pearl, he is looking great right now in freestyle. A little bit of a save right there as well, so Cole, I mean, I think we could all agree that this is really Cole's competition, you know. He can put down some fast races and he can do some nice wheelies and skills, but Cole is a freestyler at heart. He pulled off an amazing save at just the last show. Now he's coming out here, though, and he's got to try to live up to that. Don't go over Venard. Very nice piece of mind to put that in reverse. Let that truck settle. He might go for some destruction. Very nicely done by Venard and the Black Pearl. Seamless transition into that big hit. He just blew the roof straight off of that thing. And he is getting some crazy cross-thread action going now. So Venard and the Black Pearl, you want to talk about someone who will go crazy? He is going absolutely huge all throughout this freestyle run. And I mean, this is such a high-stakes tour that, I mean, it's no surprise to me to see Venard driving this hard, but I think it is still worth pointing out that you can tell he's feeling the pressure with this tour. He is absolutely going at it right now. He is just burning this down. Gonna throw it into some donuts, but that's gonna bring the run to an end. He has a broken 4-link bar. He does fill time, though. So Venard and the Black Pearl, very nicely done. Ooh, some big shock damage as well. So these drivers have to be careful. Nick Pagliarulo and Venard make the same mistake. They do some big air and some sort of a transfer type thing, but they land a little too hard, and they completely destroy the truck on those little ramps. And sure, that won't really affect their run since it's over at that point, but that's an expensive break. So I'm sure all these drivers want to save their money where they can, and they're going to have to start watching out to make sure they don't do that, because that was a bit of a expensive crash there by Venard and the Black Pearl. On that note, though, it is time to take a look at the scores. As Venard putting on a nice little bit of a performance out there. Giving his best effort. Now fans, keep in mind, the bar has been set high by Nick Pagliarulo, with that score to beat being set at an 8.8. So, experts are going to give it a 9.25. Fans give it a 9.338. The score for Venard and the Black Pearl, a 9.294. Put him at the top. Venard and the Black Pearl is officially your new leader here in the freestyle competition. Fans, Venard was your defending series leader coming into this show. And coming out of the first show, this guy right here is your series leader. So these two drivers have really seen it all on this tour. Coming up next, Mike Christensen and Vendetta. So Mike Christensen and Venard, both drivers who found really good success at some point in the tour, but then fell from grace shortly after. And now they both have a little bit more of a vengeance when they drive because they want to prove that they deserve their spots in the top of the leaderboard. So Mike Christensen and Vendetta maybe going to drive with a little bit more of a fire because of that. As right off the bat, we are seeing him get a little bit crossed up, and that's not something you see too often from this guy. You know, there's got to be something going on if he's starting to get a little bit aggressive with his driving. Huge air! Oh my goodness! Vendetta goes over, and he pulls off an amazing save. He's a little caught up over here now. He's just going to send that thing through the air. Mike Christensen, what a move. Huge air right there as well. He is just absolutely killing it. Big wheelie. Slaps it down. So Mike Christensen and Vendetta, like I was just saying, there's some shows where you can tell he's driving with a little bit more of a fire. And I think this is one of those big destruction for the Vendetta camp. He is just going crazy. And this is very rare for Mike Christensen. So you know when he's driving like this, there is a reason for it. Huge air once again. So Mike Christensen and Vendetta, he's looking very good out here in freestyle. Venard's got to be sweating right now because I don't think his lead's going to last very long coming off of this freestyle. You have got to be kidding me. Let's see. No movement from Mike Christensen. Clock is paused at 19 seconds. I gotta say, that was a very hard landing. That truck, however, it does look intact. So it's up to Mike here if he wants to refire. And it sounds like that truck is back up and running, fans. Mike Christensen, Vendetta, he is not done yet. The clock will resume on his next hit of this run. Big air right there. Oh my goodness. Mike Christensen holding absolutely nothing back tonight. This is an amazing freestyle. He has gotten some crazy wow factors in here. Hard side slap right there. Now he's going to toss it into some donuts. Mike Christensen, Vendetta, that run has officially come to an end. What a freestyle that he just put down. I am speechless. I mean, the one tire save, the crazy pirouette, the destruction, he had it all. What a freestyle. Absolutely incredible run. So fans, those scores are now locked in. The fan score is going to come in at a 9.891. Experts are going to give that a 9.75. So Mike Christensen and Vendetta, a 9.821. I think that is the biggest score we have seen in the entirety of this Fall Brawl Series. Absolutely real from Mike Christensen. And like I was just saying, Mike's not a driver who's usually going out there and throwing down completely in freestyle, but when he has a reason to, he does go crazy. Now, fans, freestyle has been going insane. But would you believe me if I told you we're only 3 runs in and there's still 7 to go? I wouldn't either, because we have already seen so much action. But fans, that is true. There are still 7 competitors left to go, and coming up next, it's Dalton Widner, Shell Shocked. Dalton Widner coming out here, huge air. Oh my goodness. So Dalton's boss just burned it down. So you have to imagine now Dalton's coming out here wondering how can he do the same. Well, so far, he is just sending it from hit to hit. And I mean, if you're trying to take home a freestyle win, that is the way to do it. Oh my goodness, what a save for Dalton. Maybe a save. No! Oh, man. Leaving a minute 24. Dalton had that saved like 3 or 4 times. Unbelievable. What a tough break. Fans, I am so sorry. Okay. We forgot to switch out of that screen for that run. Well, I'll tell you what. Dalton just had a bit of a rough crash. We're gonna get that truck fixed up because he did just do some damage to it. So we'll revisit that shell shock freestyle in just a little bit. Apologies there, fans. So we're gonna let Dalton go into the pits and fix that up. And in the meantime, we're gonna move into a different competitor because Dalton having a little damage to the truck. Coming up next, it's Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. It might be the first time in monster truck history where the fans did not see a freestyle, so they had to redo it. Truly a one-of-a-kind occurrence right there. So Matt Pagliarulo, he's coming out here. And I think this goes for all the Pagliarulos. Oh my goodness. That is a tough break. I mean, Matt just rolling it a little too early. And he is not going to be able to put on a good performance. That is a DNF. There is no score. That is a dead zero for the Jester machine. It looks like he was going to pull out the save, but the truck just wasn't grabbing the way he needed it to. And unfortunately, because of that, he just couldn't pull out the save. So tough break for Matt Pagliarulo. And in the meantime, we're going to take it back to Team Throttle Monster, but not quite Dalton Widner just yet. We're going to give him some more time to recoup everything behind the scenes. We're going to take it over to Team Throttle Monster once again. And coming up next, please welcome Tyler Groth and Velociraptor. So Tyler, a pretty new driver here for Team Throttle Monster. We're used to seeing him, you know, on his own team, but just lately he switched teams here to drive for that Velociraptor machine as he pulls off a very nice wheelie right off the bat here in freestyle. Big air right there. So Tyler, Groth, and Velociraptor, nice save as well. He is coming out here with a bit of a different truck, a bit of a different experience level. You know, a lot of these drivers out here are used to driving these big floors, in Monster Jam in particular, but Tyler hasn't driven a stadium in gosh, at least half a decade. So, you know, that's got to put some pressure on him as he gets back into doing some of these big shows. And for those of you who are unaware, the whole thing that's on the line with this Fall Brawl Series is the 2026 Monster Jam Destruction Series, which is a stadium tour. So, yes, these drivers are all under pressure because they have their opportunity at a pretty big break next year, but they're going to have to get it done for pretty much the next month up until the event in Lamar on Veterans Day. which will determine the first competitor for the 2026 Monster Jam Destruction Series. So, there is a lot on the line. Tyler Groth seeming to understand that as he is driving at a bit of a higher level than normal tonight. Very nice combination maneuver. But then you have to start to ask yourself, what can Tyler Groth do to step it up? Oh my goodness! Maybe this is what he can do if he can get this back. Oh my gosh, that was nearly wow moments of the night for Tyler Groth. He goes over. What a crazy freestyle ending. That was almost the craziest moment of the night. But unfortunately, he could not get it to grab back, and he ends up on the lid. So fans, let's hear it one more time for Tyler Groth and Velociraptor for giving it his best effort out there. He threw it down. He tried his best, but unfortunately, going to come to an early end with 13 seconds left on the clock. Again, that's 13 seconds left, so he did fill a decent amount of time. Give him some credit there. Let's see, that fan scoring window is officially closed. So, score to beat is the 9.821 for Mike Christensen and Vendetta. The score for Tyler Groth and Velociraptor is an 8.491. Going to be enough for 4th place right now in the freestyle competition. Well, fans, we're going to get right back into the action, and it's time for that run you have all been waiting for. They have that truck fixed and ready to go. It was only a flat tire, so it was a pretty speedy fix. They were able to get it back. And now you will get a run from Dalton Widner that you can see in the shell shock. So Dalton Widner coming out here. And now he gets a second chance. You know, he got to do a freestyle already, and now he gets to do another one. So he kind of gets 2 chances to feel out this course, something that no other competitor did. So Dalton's actually going to get a really big advantage because of that, as he goes huge onto the nose for that first hit. Next hit, also very big. So Dalton Widner and shell shocked, off to a very powerful start in this freestyle competition. Huge once again. Nice little bit of a wheelie. Ouch. Gonna just plow right into the camper right there. But he's gonna keep this run going over that car van stack. So very nicely done right there. Dalton Widner and shell shock just overall staying nice and balanced. He is doing some nice transfers right now. This isn't really a track where it looks like you'd have any, quote, transfers, but he's transferring it from those outer ramps to the inner ramps, and this might be a crazy save. No, it will not be. Dalton, Widner, and shell shocked. Nose picks that ramp a little bit, leaves about 57 seconds on the clock. Pause that clock a little bit late. Nearly pulled off save of the night. But unfortunately, that truck just bounced really unfortunately, and he could not get the opportunity to pull out a save. So Dalton Widner and shell shocked, his best effort right there, as he tried to take home that freestyle win, but instead turtled the turtle, as we would like to say here. He turtled the turtle in freestyle, and he put that run to an early end. So a good effort for Dalton Widner, but is it enough? That window for fan scores is now closed. So the score to beat belongs to Mike Christensen and Vendetta with a 9.821. The score for Dalton Widner, shell shocked, is a 6.916. Not enough for that top spot. That is enough for 5th place right now in freestyle. Fans, there are 3 competitors left to go. There might be a 4th competitor, but we do not know just yet because they're still doing some work in the pits on Jurassic Attack, as you would probably expect. So Jamey, Garner, and Overboard. He's going to be up next to the track, fans. Jamey Garner, the owner of his own team. Of course, that Overboard Motorsports team with Zack, Garner, and Venard both on it. So Jamey's built his own little empire, and they're all out here on this tour. So you have to wonder, how does Jamey Garner live with the pressure of having all these different drivers on his team while still performing like the boss of the team? You know, when you're the boss of a team, you have to perform like you're the boss of a team. So Jamey's going to have to step it up as much as he can here, and he's ready to go. And Jamey goes big, kicking off his freestyle run in the Overboard. Oh, right off the bat, can he pull out this sidewall save? What? Jamey Garner and Overboard. It is very rare that we would ever see a move like that out of him. That was unreal. He just did a sidewall, side over side save. That is some 2018 Jamey Garner action for that Overboard machine as he almost goes over again. So Jamey, just like Mike Christensen, he's clearly driving like the owner of his team. Oh my goodness. You also have to consider his son is out here in this lineup too. He doesn't want to get one-upped by his own son. That's for sure. So Jamey Garner and Overboard, he's coming out here. He's really trying to find something unique that he can do. Some nice destruction right there. Sees the opportunity as he saw that broken off piece in the middle of the course. Big air for Jamey Garner. Oh my goodness. And he is going to plow it into the camper. So Jamey Garner and Overboard, don't let this go over. He's going to save it. Jamey Garner is going overboard tonight in this freestyle run, as we would like to say. Unreal action right now for Jamey Garner, and he pulls off another one. Some broken sway bars in the rear end of that machine, but that is not going to stop him. He is still just getting started here in freestyle. Well, that's what he'd like to think at least, but time has now expired for the Overboard as he sends that truck onto the lid. What a run for Jamey Garner. Some absolutely insane action. He tried to give it one more hit. He landed on the front end, and that truck just went straight over and onto the lid. What a performance. But here's the thing. I think Jamey's run was the craziest one we've seen yet, but Mike Christensen's score was so high that I don't know how Jamey could ever take it away. The score to beat is a 9.821. Absolutely massive score for Mike Christensen and Vendetta. But the score for Jamey Garner and Overboard is a 9.703. That's going to put Jamey Garner and Overboard in second place currently on the event. So Jamey Garner and Overboard giving it his best effort out here as he tried to take home that win. And I mean, in his defense, I think he did everything he possibly could have. I just think Mike Christensen's score was so high that there was no realistic way anyone would be able to top it, including Jamey Garner. Well, we don't know that for sure because 3 competitors still remain with the opportunity to top that score. But the question lies, will they be able to do it? That is the question at hand as these next few competitors prepare to hit the track. So fans, on that note, we're going to get back into the action. Only 3 competitors, maybe 3, 2 to 3 competitors remain here in freestyle. And coming up next, please welcome to the track, Mike, Pagliarulo, and Excaliber. Now, Mike has, over the course of the past year, become one of the best freestylers in all of Monster Trucks, just burning it down at pretty much every single event, every single venue, every single tour. Mike Pagliarulo knows how to get it done, and some huge air to kick off freestyle, definitely proving my point. So Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber coming out here, looking to become that champion tonight. Very nicely done, shedding the hood, or what was left of it after skills that was caught up on the truck. So Mike Christensen and Excaliber, Mike Christensen, yep, that's right. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber coming out here really trying to prove to these fans that he has what it takes to become an overall event champion. He is only 1 point out of the lead for the overall points chase, so if he can do really good here in freestyle, maybe he can get it done. Now fans, I am so sorry. We did forget to start that timer at the start of the freestyle run. So what's going to happen here is when that clock hits 30 seconds, that will officially count as Mike Pagliarulo's time being expired. Some runs are just so captivating and insane that you forget to start the clock, and that's what just happened there for Mike Pagliarulo. But yeah, we'll say that at 30 seconds, this run will be at an end, and Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, he is going insane right now. Unbelievable. He's got about 50 seconds left on the clock to just continue going out there and burning it down. Mike is going to be another one of those drivers who really slams into the backside of that ramp. That's happened so many times today, and it just never looks like it feels good. But the difference is Mike's truck looks like it held up fairly well, so he won't be shut off or anything. Some sway bar issues maybe, but that doesn't end runs here on this series. So, oh my goodness, Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. That might be the biggest air of the entire season, pretty much right as that run came to an end. Unbelievable. When we said Jamey Garner was going to be feeling his jump, I don't think we were ready for what Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber had in store. What a tough break. Not even a tough break necessarily, because that happened right at the end of time. It was just such a rough crash that, I mean, that could take a chassis out of competition with how hard he landed that. So very tough break there for the Excaliber camp, just because that was such a hard hit. But yeah, fans, that score to beat is a 9.821 for Mike Christensen and Vendetta. The score for Mike Pagliarulo is a 9.687. That's going to be enough for third place for Mike Pagliarulo. Man, it was such a killer run, but only third place, and that's a testament to how hard these drivers are all pushing their trucks under the pressure of this series. Now, fans, this might be the last freestyle run. This is Zack, Garner, and Wildside. I say might because we still don't know if Jurassic Attack is going to be able to come back out or not after that rough crash in racing. So Zack, Garner, and Wildside might be closing freestyle or might not be. We'll find out here pretty soon. But one thing is for sure, he's looking to claim that season lead. Fans, Zack Garner, he's staged. He's ready to go here in freestyle. And he is off. There begins time for the Wildside machine. Zack Garner wasting no time to just absolutely send that truck. Oh my goodness, he's already on the ragged edge. Well, we don't need to check if this is Zack Garner driving or not. I think I'm pretty confident that this is a Zack Garner freestyle run going down right now. And every single hit he does, I think, is just proving my point even more. He is just absolutely sending this truck every which way right now. Oh my goodness. A technical move in freestyle. That is something that we have not really seen enough of tonight. Sounded like that truck having some troubles, but I don't think that's going to be stopping Zack Garner and Wildside. He just, nothing can slow him down right now. He is unchained, he is off the rails, and quite frankly, I don't think he wants anything to slow him down. He is just going at it. Zack Garner and Wildside. Back through that camper once again. He is all over the place. Back in another technical maneuver. Can he get this back, though? That is the question for the Wildside machine. Zack Garner twisting that truck every which way. He pulls out the save. I thought that save was lost about 4 times in the process. But Zack Garner and Wildside, he said, no way. I'm trying to take home a win tonight. And he is just going absolutely insane in freestyle. Oh my goodness, this might send him over. Unless he can get it back. No, he cannot. Finally, that absolutely insane run comes to an end right at the end of time. Zack Garner and Wildside, they don't call him one of the best freestylers for nothing. That was absolutely unbelievable. And I mean, Mike Christensen's score was so high that I just don't know if anyone could beat it. But I mean, Zack's run was so good, he would have to. I just don't know. But fans, that score to beat Mike Christensen, a 9.821. The score for Wildside is a 9.891. That is one of the biggest scores in Monster Truck history. Zack Garner gets it done. He officially takes home freestyle tonight. Oh, hold on, fans. Wait. Fans, we have some big news. I thought Zack Garner just took it home. No, we have a driver who has been working hard in the back all event long, trying to come back out here for freestyle. And alongside the rest of the Team Throttle Monster crew, he was able to get it done. That's right, fans. Get ready. Because coming up last in freestyle is Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. Tim Hall Jr., his rough crash in racing, we thought he couldn't make it back out, but we thought wrong. He is back with a vengeance here for freestyle. And I'm sure he's got one thing in mind. Burn it down. Tim Hall Jr. in the Jurassic Attack. He has had a roller coaster of a night. But why not end it off on a high note? With a Monster Truck freestyle, huge air, getting things started here for Tim Hall Jr. and the Jurassic Attack. He is going huge right off the bat. You can tell he's ready to make up those points he missed in skills. And I mean, that is what a good driver looks like. Just staying at it regardless of what has happened throughout the show. And knowing what mistakes you have to correct later on. Oh my goodness, a risky transfer by Tim Hall Jr. That could have ended bad in a million ways. More than one, but Tim Hall Jr. makes it work. And he is just going at it now. I mean, he has 2 minutes to just let loose all the frustration from missing skills. He can just let that all come out here in freestyle, as he is going absolutely crazy so far. Here's the thing, though. The drivers who have come out in freestyle that scored really high, they all had some sort of crazy wow factor. Now, how is Tim Hall Jr. going to get that done? That is the question. Some nice destruction and a nice save right there is going to help him out. But is it going to be enough? Oh my goodness. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack is going insane right now. He is just going to plow it into that car stack and oh my goodness. With 28 seconds on the clock, Tim Hall Jr. has turned a long day into a long night. Plowing it into those cars. He just tore out the entire front end of that Jurassic Attack machine. What a rough show for Tim Hall Jr., man. He cannot catch a break in that Jurassic Attack machine. First, it was missing a competition. Well, no, first it was destroying his truck. You know, then it was missing a competition. You wonder, well, how could it get any worse for him? Well, that could happen. So, fans, a tough break there for that Jurassic Attack machine. Giving it his best effort. But regardless, I gotta give him credit. He's burned it down. He knew what he had to do. He got some risky moves in there. He wasn't afraid to get on the ragged edge. So, all great things for Tim Hall Jr. Just a rough way to end it out. Scores are locked. The score to beat, 9.891 for Wildside. The score for Jurassic Attack is an 8.194. Not going to be enough for that top spot. That will put him in 8th place tonight as this competition comes to an end. Well, fans, a tough break there for Tim Hall Jr., but I'll tell you what, we're going to be back. We're going to see how the overall standings look, and then we're going to have a little bit of an encore for you fans. Alright fans, thank you all for waiting. Those scores and overall placements have officially all been tallied up. So, here is all of that information for you. Fans, we have a new series leader. We were just saying that the odds of this happening seemed highly likely, and well, it finally did happen. So, what am I saying? Well, Zack, Garner, and Wildside has officially become your new season leader with 69 points. Jamey Garner takes second. Third place is now Venard. Mike Christensen is making his climb back up to the top as well, as he takes fourth place, and Mike Pagliarulo joins the top 5. But here's a story for you. Tim Hall Jr. falls from 2nd place to 7th place after missing a competition and struggling in the other ones. So, all I'm going to say is Tim Hall Jr. has some serious work to do if he wants to get things done as this show goes on. I mean, that is a serious drop in the standings. So, Team Tomfoolery finally has split themselves apart from each other, but now, the Overboard team, the Garners, they're dominating the leaderboard, with Zack in first, Jamey in second, and Cole in third. So that's all the very important things that you're going to need to know here as we take a look at all of these scores. But, fans, you know how we get things done here on this channel. We don't just go through a typical boring old show and call it a day. It's never a full show on the channel without one of our encores. That is something that is absolutely true to us. And fans, that is going to remain just the same here for this show. So please, all of you fans, prepare yourselves, because we have a special encore planned for you all. Now, we are here in the Wild Ridge Rodeo Arena. Now, I don't know what a rodeo arena sounds like to you, but that reminds me of some cowboys. And no one says cowboys quite like the man himself, Jimmy Cretin in Bounty Hunter. But unfortunately, Jimmy Cretin has stepped down from driving too much in recent years, so we won't be able to see Jimmy Cretin at this show. However, that Bounty Hunter identity is not going anywhere, and they are still throwing it down with different drivers week in and week out. So with all of that being said, fans, we are currently preparing for that encore. We've got brand new crushable obstacles out there on the track just so that this driver can throw it down. Because no one can freestyle on a track like this quite like this guy can. In fact, they say that he is the man. But he's not just any man. Because, fans, he knows how to burn it down. And that will be just the same here in this encore. So get on your feet, because this is a big deal here. This is something you're not going to want to miss as we are preparing to get this driver out there on the track. Sorry for the wait. The track crew has been doing some work to get everything back in position for this driver, and he is now ready to throw it down. So, fans, I hope you are all ready for one of the best drivers of the independent circuit in current day monster trucks. Please welcome Dan the Man Dalton behind the wheel of the Bounty Hunter. Dan the Man, he is one of the best freestylers in the independent business at this point in time. He will absolutely burn it down on any track that he gets his tires on. I was going to say his hands on, but any track he can get his tires on too. He will burn it down on them, and he is just going at it right now for these Wild Ridge Rodeo Arena fans. Huge credit for Dan the Man Dahlgren for coming out here and doing this encore. You know, things like this are usually out of schedule, and some drivers don't really like doing non-competitive things like encores, but Dan Dahlgren taking up this opportunity right away from the second he got it, and he is just absolutely killing it in the bounty hunter. So he is just going crazy right now. Let's see what he can do here. He's got something in mind. Huge air, goes in for the crush on a wheelie, but he is down to only 3 tires remaining on that monster truck, fans. That's gonna bring that encore to an end. Let's hear it for Dan the Man Dahlgren behind the wheel of Bounty Hunter. And at that note, fans, let's hear it for this show. An absolutely incredible event. All 10 competitors, and of course Dan Dahlgren, all absolutely burned it down all throughout the event. They all did the absolute best work that they could. And I think they all deserve some credit for that, you know. This track was a little tricky to figure out. Racing was a pretty wide course. I mean, it started wide and then got tight, so that's something you got to get used to. Skills, you know, there were a lot of options, but some of them were a little tricky. You saw some drivers getting caught up on certain ramps, and there was you can say a pretty fair share of destruction, but here's the thing. The Overboard team is continuing to dominate this tour. Just last week, it was Cole, Venard, and the Black Pearl. Now, it's Zack, Garner, and Wildside. And Cole, Jamey, and Zack are the whole podium. So, yeah, Team Overboard has it figured out on this tour. Now, Dalton, Widner, and Matt Pagliarulo have some serious work to do, because if they cannot get out of those bottom 2 positions, they will not be able to compete in the Monster Jam Destruction Series next year. So they also have some pretty big pressure on them. Mike Pagliarulo finally getting the breakthrough event for Team Tomfoolery. There are so many stories from tonight, but overall, things you gotta know, well, Zack was fast in racing, Mike went crazy in skills, and Zack went insane in freestyle. Zack also gathered the most points any driver has had at any event so far this year, as Zack Garner would be able to grab a total of 29 points. That is only 1 point away from a perfect event, which personally I think he deserves. So, Zack, Garner, and Wildside absolutely killing it tonight with the overall and gaining that series lead. Fans, thank you all for coming out to this event. This was a super fun one to put on, and be ready for Thursday, because, hey, on Thursday, Series East is doing a show, and we have a few special guests lined up for that commentary. Just gonna leave it at that. So everyone be ready for that show. It's gonna be a crazy one, and I'll see you all soon in some more Monster Truck action. Thank you all for watching.